Welcome back. It's 16 after 5. It's today here on eNCA Channel 403. Two KwaZulu-Natal paramedics have been suspended over allegations of patient negligence. It's alleged the pair refused to assist a patient suffering from heart problems when her family called for assistance. In fact, eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli is following this story. She joins us now with more. Lethiwe, you spoke to the sister of the patient earlier. What is she saying exactly transpired?
Well, William, this is a very sad story coming out of Umlazi Township. We visited the family today following the ordeal that happened on Sunday night. So we do understand from the family that two paramedics arrived at their home after they had called for assistance. And when they arrived, they were meant to assist them with their sister who was having heart problems at the time. But unfortunately, the two paramedics refused to treat the patient. And also they refused to even assist the family in trying to get her down the stairs and also into the ambulance. They are saying that the two paramedics were very rude and they kept on telling them that they are wasting their time. Now, the family has been very traumatized by this whole situation, and they are saying that they do not understand what the job of a paramedic is if they are going to refuse to treat a patient and also leave a patient untreated when obviously she's going through something. We do understand from the family that they received assistance from neighbors when the two paramedics refused to help them. But unfortunately, because of the situation and the fact that the patient was under so much stress, they couldn't get her in. They needed the assistance of the paramedics and also a stretcher. We do understand that the paramedics even refused to give the family the stretcher when they asked for it. And eventually, when this whole thing was happening, the two paramedics decided to leave without even treating the patient. This is when the family tried to get help from other neighbors who had vehicles, and they then took her to a nearby local hospital, clinic rather, and that's when the clinic then called for assistance and an ambulance was able to help. But initially, this whole thing, when it was happening, the family was traumatized. One of the family members then decided to post on social media what was happening. And this is when this whole situation trended. And then the Department of Health got involved. And we do understand now that the two paramedics have been suspended. There was a statement that was released by the departments yesterday. And they did say that they've suspended them. And there is an investigation that is currently ongoing. But speaking to Mbali's Kosana a bit earlier on today, I mean, she sounded very traumatized, and she is saying that they're calling for justice for their loved one. But when I was speaking to her, this is what she had to say.
We called for an ambulance. They said they're going to get back to us. They're still checking how busy Mlazi is. And then we waited. Maybe like an hour later, the guy on the ambulance called us, and then he asked, where are they coming? When I asked, where are you guys at, so it can be easy for me to direct you, he said, that's none of your business, you just tell us where we are coming. And then I told him, we near Mekapilani, they must use the second left, and then when they are near the white stairs, they must tell me so I can come out. And then maybe like 45 minutes later, they called again, shouted, why are we not on the road? I told them, I cannot leave my sister like this. And I told you, as soon as you get close, tell me so I can come out. Then he asked her where's she at. I told him she's in bed and she's heavy. It was just me and her son at the time. They said they're not getting out of the car. It's none of their business. They are leaving. It's either we get her there or they are leaving. There's nothing special about us. They have lots of patients to attend to. We tried, but then she couldn't get up. But we were wasting their time. They are leaving, and then they left. The lady from the neighbors, because it's a cycling, she went to try and stop them. They didn't even listen to her. They just drove and left.
And Lethiwe, you can hear the frustration from the lady speaking, from the Sikosana family. And it's disheartening as well to just think that it had to trend in order to get the attention of the provincial department. You also got to speak to the Provincial Public Servants Association. What do they have to say?
Well, of course, unions are condemning the situation, and they are also reminding their members of the oath that they took when they took these jobs. And they are saying that it's a right move from the Department of Health in the province to investigate the issue, because they need to hear two sides, both sides of the story. And they are saying that for now, what they are hearing from the family is very concerning, but they are calling for the Department of Health to look into the situation and thoroughly investigate so that they can have more information before they take a decision. But the PSA is also raising very valid points, saying that a lot of emergency service personnel in the province have been hijacked before, and because of this, these paramedics might have had an issue with heading into Umlazi Township. We do understand that they did not have a police van escorting them into the township, so the PSA is saying that the two paramedics might have felt some type of way going into the township without being escorted. There has been some situations where we've learned of paramedics getting hijacked, or even being victims of criminal activity, being pointed at using firearms. So there are those situations that take place in the township and around Durban as a whole. But the PSA is also saying just for their members to remember the oath that they took when they took on this job, because their main concern is the patient, and in whatever situation, they should help the patient first. When I spoke to the PSA's Mdluli a bit earlier on, this is what he had to say.
In the province, as PSA, we have always encouraged our members to behave ethically and treat all the patients with respect. I think the department have taken the right position to investigate, because it's always important to get all the side of the stories. But we must also make note that we have seen in the province where some of the staff who are in emergency service who have been attacked, some of them have been killed in the process. It is for these reasons where we call the Department of Health and SARS and community to be able to work together. But what we are saying to all the professional staff, whether they are nurses, emergency services, we must make sure that we comply with our ethical oath and also behave correctly, because we are the professional union. We always promote ethical behavior, but we cannot preempt what happened in that particular situations. They've placed them on the precautionary suspensions. Their side of the story will be heard and justice will be served, because at the end of the day, we exist to save the communities. And we have seen some of the comments from Facebook, frustrations from the public, but we must not put everyone in one blanket, because the majority of the nurses who work in hospital, in particular, they are people who behave ethically.
That's our reporter, Lethiwe Mdluli. As always, thank you so much for your time this evening. We're going